No, I don't have a dot.
I think you did 1, 2, missing half 30.
We did number 1 together?
We did 2.
That's okay. We're going to do them all. There's only 1, 2, 3, 3, 11. There we go. Okay, number 1. Owen, what is my phrase? My new phrase. 15% of 40 is P. So when you labeled them, you should have labeled 15 the percent, 40 the whole, and then the what is what we're looking for is our part. Jake, number 2. What was your new phrase? If you miss these, I want you to fix them because we're going to have to use these on Monday.
20% is 12.
That's the question. Emmy, do you have this one?
20% of 20.
Yeah, 20% of, and let's put W in there, is 12. Because there's our phrase word for word right there. 12% of what number, which means that's what we're looking for. And if we can remember that it's percent of whole, that means we're looking for our whole, is 12. It just says it backwards. It says 12 is instead of is 12. Same thing. If it's on one side, kind of all by itself, on one side of is by itself, that means that's your part. Next one, 3. Dawson, what do you have? Sorry, I should have labeled this percent, whole, part. Number 3.
I have 22% of 22%. I don't know.
Leo?
Percent of 5 is 22.
Yeah, and it's like blank percent of 5 is 22. And again, I'm trying to get you guys to find those words because it's the same every single time. Look for your percent. It always asks you percent of something. Either they give us that something or we have to find that something. If they give us that something, they're giving us our whole, so we'll have to find our part. If they ask us for the whole, that means we're looking for the part. So this one would be part. Percent is what I'm looking for, and it says what percent. So the question is what percent? So that means I have to find it. Of 5 is my whole. Second, number 3. This is what threw you guys off, those words right there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ignore them for a second. Percent of something is 4. And it says what percent. So I'm looking for the percent. So the blank percent of something I got to figure out is 4. Couple different things we can have here. Leah, if I said, what's the quotient of 15 and 3? What would you say? What's 15 divided by 3? 5. You could have had percent of 5 is 4. How can I actually write out the quotient of 15 and 3?
3 over 15.
Backwards.
15
15 over
over
3 is the same thing. This one, if you would actually see it, would look like that. And the first thing you would hopefully do is look at 15 over 3 and be like, hey, that's 5. Simplify it first. Both of those are okay. I agree. That one was kind of confusing, but does that make sense? Is it easier than you made it out to be?
Yes.
Number 4, I believe we did, I don't know if we did together, but Meyer, go ahead and give me that phrase.
15% of W is 30.
Okay, so this is our percent. You said 15% of W is 30 because 50% of the number of people who attended a concert. And the question says, find the number of people who attended a concert. So we do not know our whole is 30. Is 30 the part of our people that went to the concert? What does the 30 represent? The people that were late. So if they're not late, they were on time. Yeah, or early, yeah. So that is a part of the people that went to the concert. Represents part of it. Number 5, Brendan, what phrase did you come up with?
30% of 350
Okay.
is P.
P is our part. So that meant, sorry, I got lazy on labeling. Percent of the money she earned, and then it says she earns $350, so that is my whole. I am looking for how much does she save, which is our part. Again, this is the hardest part of these problems, is picking out these pieces. It's not doing the math. Okay, I've been drilling you on the math for a year and a half. Okay, multiplying, dividing, decimals, fractions, setting up equivalent ratios. The math part's not the hard part. It's if you can't come up with the right problem, can you get the correct answer? No. That's why we're spending like 2 whole days just on pulling parts of these problems. Okay, number 6. At the Natural History Museum, 40% of the visitors are children. There are 36 children at the museum. How many visitors altogether are at the museum? Afton.
40% of W is 36.
Okay, 40% of W is 36. How do you know I'm looking for my whole?
Because it says how many visitors are all.
Yeah, the question says how many visitors, and 40% of the visitors. So we do not know that. So that is what we're looking for. And it says 40% are children. There are 36 children. Remember, your percent and your part should have the same label. Number 7, Elise, what'd you come up with?
Percent of 20 is 15.
Percent of 20 is 15. And this one we can kind of think of using our common sense brain. If you made 15 out of 20, fractions are always set up as part over whole. You made 15 out of a total of 20. So 20 is our total or our whole. 15 is the part. We would be looking for the percent on that one. And again, the question says what percent? Sorry, I'm forgetting to label. Part, whole. Number 8, Bill bought cards to celebrate Pi Day. He sends 60% of his cards to friends. So 60% of his total cards go to his friends. He sent 42 cards to friends. How many cards did he buy? Hallie, what did you come up with for this one?
I came up with
60% of W is 42 because it's 60% of his cards, and I don't know how many cards he purchased. So that is his, I could label it there or I could label it up there. So 42 is the part that he sent away. Number 9, Jake, what did you come up with?
Percent of 250
Percent of 250 is 150. Because 150 out of 250 are full. And then it wants to know what percent that represents. Number 10, 3 out of every 5 students in the school are girls. What percent of the school are boys? Leo?
1% of 5 is 3.
What percent of 5 is 3? Go with that. What will I be finding if I solve that? If I know 3 out of every 5 are girls, what will I be solving, Brendan?
Percent of 5 is like 2.
It's not 2%, but I need how.
No,
Like, let's just say it's 30%. It's not. But let's say I figured out that 30% of 5 is 3. What is that telling me?
you could do the opposite one.
Yeah, because that's telling me that 30% are girls, and it asked me for boys. So if I know 30% are girls, 70% would be boys. So that one is a multi-step one. That's why I put it at the end. It's a little bit tougher. Same idea. Same idea. It is. Number 11. Bruce doesn't cookie. Bruce cooks. Bruce cooks 80% of the pancakes at the pancake breakfast last weekend. They made 1,120 pancakes. How many pancakes did Bruce cook? Owen, what'd you have?
80% of 1,120 equals P.
Okay, equals P. How did you know that that 1,120 was our whole?
They made 1,120 pancakes.
Yeah, they made that many. That is the total. And it wants to know how many he made. He made 80% of that total amount of pancakes. Okay, what I want you to do with this piece of paper, listen carefully, because sometimes we listen to some directions and not all directions. First, I gave you 2 pieces of paper yesterday. I want you to locate the one that has no writing on it. Put your name on it, and put your name at the top of the worksheet. No, because when you work them, you'll want them unstapled. But I am going to collect both of them so that they do not disappear by Monday, because some of you aren't the most organized humans on earth.
I said 3.
Okay, what I need you to do now, you are going to bring me your 2 papers together in one hand and your weekly worksheet in the other hand, and bring them to me. Everybody. Okay, these ones. Hold on, let me see what it is. That one, thank you. Do you have your weekly worksheet? Okay, take that one there, thank you. Thank you, thank you. This one, thank you, thank you. Check, I need the other paper also. Thank you. Thank you. This one goes there. That one goes there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Got it. Hold on. My piles are getting crazy. I was doing pretty good. Yep. Okay, those go here. That one goes here. Oh. I need the other paper we just. Thank you. Okay, did you get it done? Is your name on it? Okay. Okay. Hold on, guys. We're not done for the day. Let me pause this. Get your books out and open them to where we left off yesterday. I'll tell you the page in just a sec. Okay. So, what page? 95? 95, we're just picking up right where we left off yesterday. Who can remind me, how do I find 50% of a number divided by 2? How do we find 25% of a number, Brendan? Divided by 4. How do I find 20% of a number? Leo? Divided by 5. Why? How are we coming up with those numbers?
You multiply what you're dividing by, and your percent you get to 100. Like 50, you're dividing by 2. 50 times 2 is 100.
Okay, thinking of the fraction form. 50% is 1/2, so we can divide by 2. 25% is 1/4, so we can divide by 4. 20%, Leo, turn around, is 1/5, so we can just divide by 5. If I'm looking for 10%, I can just divide by 10. So looking here, 9 is 50% of what number? So this is saying if I take 50% of this number, I will get 9. What is that number? Owen? 18. Raise your hand if you were thinking 4.5. If you were thinking 4.5, what were you doing? Leo?
2 divided by 9.
You were doing 50% of 9, and that's not what it's asking. It's saying 9 is the part, not the whole. So 50% of 18 is 9. So when you're doing these mental math ones, those are the mistakes you will make. So take a second and say the whole thing once you have it to make sure it still makes sense. Because if you would say 50% of 4.5 is 9, that should kind of throw up some red flags. 9 is 25% of what number? Tatum?
36.
36. Why? Or what thought process do you... Yeah, you have to think about what number, when I divide it by 4, do I get 9? Or 9 times 4 is 36. 10%. 90. Double check it. 90 divided by 10, do I get 9? Yes. 75%.
Would it be you get 75 to 25%, right?
You
Yeah.
So we're building off this one. Look. Can we build off that one? I know 25% of 36 is 9. 108? What is the fraction for 7? We're going to check it a different way. 3/4. How can we use that?
Get 9 to a fraction, which would be 9 over 1.
Or is it easier just to build it up? Just easier to build it up. We know 25% is 25% of 36 is 9. So let's check 108. How can we check and see if 108, if 75% of 108 is 9? We can divide it by 4, but then once I divide it by 4, what will I have to do? That'll be 1/4. Multiply by 3. We're just checking our logic to make sure it works. Yesterday, it was more obvious. Today, it should, but let's double check. I'm just making sure you know how to check your brain. 27 times 3.
That's 81.
Hallie?
You could do the fraction way, and you could try to get 3/4 to 9 over. Yeah, because then it'd be times by 3, it'd be 9/12. But that.
Which one's my answer?
Oh, you have to multiply by 3 then. Is that a good first now?
Didn't you just multiply 27 times 3?
No, because there's still one more row left.
No, because that would be. Wait, no, because that's the wrong one.
This is where percents get, and there's lots of misunderstandings. That's why yesterday when we were taking a percent of the same number, we can easily build it up, break it down because we're taking a percent of the same number. On this one, are we taking a percent of the same number? No. So we're building it up. That's why it's weird. That's why it's not working out. Hallie,
12 is the answer.
why?
Because it's asking what 9 is, so 9 can go, or 3 can go into 12 4 times, and then 9 is 3 times.
How could we check it a different way to make sure? Again, I just want to make sure we have this is correct and this is the easiest way to do it. But when we got that, we were unsure about it. We think it should work, but we're unsure. So how can I check it to make sure? Leo.
75, you can break it down to 25%.
Okay, can I find 25% of 12? By doing what? Divide by 4. What's 12 divided by 4? 3. So 3/4 would be
9/12.
9. So yes, it does check out. But again, I want you to be able to check your brain. Yes, that way works, but we weren't 100% confident with that work. So yes, that is 12. Now looking at 2 and 4.
They're lower numbers.
How are they related? How are 36 and 12 related? How can I get from...
Oh, 12 times 3.
So going percent-wise,
It'd be
it's times 3. This way it's divide by 3. But again, that's hard to remember because of we're used to equivalent ratios, times 3 times 3. I don't suggest memorizing that. We have different strategies, okay? This is one where when we solve them next week, you probably wouldn't even try and do that one mentally. You'd set it up and solve it because it's an easy one to set up and solve, okay? I don't like that one as a mental math. 150%. Brendan? Okay, why do you think that?
Because it's 75% of, if 12 is 7, if 9 is 75% of 12, and the 25% is 3, then it's going to be 2, if 75 plus 75 equals 150, then it's going to be...
Okay, so you're kind of using logic of the patterns that are happening above it. Okay, Afton?
You can just do the way that you just told us. It's 50 times 3 equals 150. So you take 18 divided by 3 equals 6.
Okay, so you're kind of using the logic that we just came up with. I would have thought, I would have broken this into 150, because why do I know that my what number is going to be smaller than 9?
Because it's over.
Because it's over, so it's going to be all of it and then half of it. And it's less than 9, so you just start somewhere. If I do 4 and half of 4, that would be 6. I'm not trying to get to 6, I'm trying to get to 9. What's 5 and half of 5?
2.5.
So 7.5. I'm trying to get to 9. You guys following me here? What's 6 plus half of 6? 9. And that's where I'm going. So yes, it is 6. And again, I don't like doing, when we're looking for the whole, I don't suggest we do those mentally yet. I don't feel like we're there yet. If we're looking for the part, we're there. We can do those unit fractions in our head pretty easily. These ones, when we get there, I'm going to suggest we set them up, work them out. Because if I set this one up, 150% of W is 9. So 1.5 times a number is 9. You can take 9 divided by 1.5 pretty easily. You would get 6. 15 goes into 9 6 times. Okay, next one. Match the percentage that describes the relationship between each pair of numbers. 1 percentage will be left over. 7 is what percentage of 14, Lily? 50%. Why? Yeah, because 7 is half of 15. Good job. Or 14. So this one is 50%. 5 is what percent of 20, Dawson?
5 is 10% of 20?
So if I take 20 divided by 10, do I get 5?
4.
Okay, 20 divided by 4. So how can I get that to a percentage? So dividing by 4 is like multiplying by 1/4, which is what percent? 25%. That one is 25. And again, you're going to have math to back these up. 3 is what percentage of 30, Elise? 10. Because 30 times 1/10 really is 3. or 30 divided by 10. 6 is what percentage of 8? Leo?
4.
Not 4. Now, I'm going to teach you, these ones, I'm going to just go ahead and teach you the trick. Because these are the ones that, for some reason, are the most difficult when we start doing the math, and they're actually the easiest. In a fraction, what goes on top, the part or the whole? The part. Which of those numbers is our part? 6. So our whole is 8. What does 6 over 8 reduce to? 3/4. What percent represents 3/4? 75. Yeah, those are the ones that when it gives us the part and the whole, we struggle with the most, and we actually have the most experience with those. We just have to change our thought process a little bit. Next one, Brennan.
400%.
So let's look at it. Which one is our part? 20 is our part, because remember, percent of whole is part. I can't write. 20 is my part. What is my whole?
5.
So my fraction would be 20 over 5.
And 5 goes into 24 times.
That's 4, but it's a decimal of 4 is 400%. Why does that percent seem weird? Because it's over 100, but if we, again, once you solve it, think about, does it make sense? 400% of 5 is 20. Our part is way bigger than our whole. To take 400% of a number, you multiply it by 4. What's 4 times 5? 20. What's 300% of 5? 3 times 5, 15. Okay, if it's 100% of it, 700% of 5 is 35. Okay, again, we're at the beginning. You're going to develop this number sense. We're going to keep working on it. And to be honest, you guys are already, you have better number sense with percents than I expected you to have. I didn't give you enough credit. Okay? Okay, I am giving you a little bit of homework, but I'm also giving you time to work on it. Don't you roll your eyes at me, Ethan. I'm sure he wasn't the only one. He's just the one I saw. Okay, turn over to the practice problems. They are on page, yes, 98. 98. I want you to do 1 through 5. 1 through 5 on pages 98 and 99. 1 through 5 on pages 98 and 99. Okay, go ahead and get started on it. You can probably get most of, not all of it, probably most of it done right now. I'm also going to pass out next week's weekly worksheet, which is just an IXL skill.